To begin creating provider profiles in HMIS, you need to make sure that you are in the correct workgroup and organization. You can do that by clicking on your name in the top right corner. Make sure that you are in the Housing Shelter workgroup and that Texas Homeless Network is your organization. Click Apply. Now you need to go to the Providers workspace. Next to the Client Track logo, you should click on the Home button. You can scroll until you see the Providers workspace. Since we know some of our providers are already in HMIS, the first step in this process is to search for the provider's name and see if it's in the system. Click on Find Provider. I'm going to use Chosen Ones in Galveston for this example. It's clear that this provider is not yet in HMIS, so we need to add it. This can be done by going to Add New Provider. Using the spreadsheet, fill in as much of this information as you can, including the provider name, the address, the city, state, and zip code, as well as the phone number. Once you have that filled out, make sure that the Accessing Organizations box is always checked. After that, scroll down and fill in the rest of the form. Fill in the available time, which you can find on the spreadsheet. You can skip the Other Information section, except you need to pick the owning organization, which we will always set as Texas Homeless Network. When you're done, click Next. Now, use the spreadsheet to fill in the contact information. If possible, we need to fill in the referral contact name, phone number, and email address. Press Finish when done. Because this is a new provider to HMIS, we're going to add all 320 services to this provider by selecting Quick Setup. A fast way to add all services is to click this very top checkbox. Wait until it selects all 200 services on this page, scroll back up to the top, and then click the Next or Last button. Then we're going to uncheck and recheck that top box so that it selects the last 120 services on this page, and press Save and Close. Now you can see that this provider has 320 results for services listed on this page. Press Finish, and then press Finish to complete and close the workflow. Let's take a quick look on the provider dashboard and make sure that everything is here. You can see that there are 320 services listed, as well as all of the correct contact information. So this one looks good, and you are ready to move on to the next provider. Now let's walk through an example of a provider that's already in HMIS. I know for a fact that Abilene Hope Haven is already in HMIS, so we'll use this one as an example. Click on Find Provider and search broadly for Abilene. Select Abilene Hope Haven. Let's move to the provider dashboard and take a look. It looks like the address and phone number match the information on the spreadsheet, so this is definitely the right provider. If a provider already exists in HMIS, we are not going to add all 320 service options to this provider as we just did when we created a new provider. We do, however, need to make sure that the services listed on the spreadsheet are represented here in HMIS. The spreadsheet has two services listed for Abilene Hope Haven: Emergency Shelter and Rapid Rehousing. Back on the provider's dashboard, you can see that those two services already exist in HMIS, so this one looks good. However, if you notice that any of the services listed on the spreadsheet are not listed here in HMIS, you need to add them in. Click on the Services page, and then Quick Setup. From here, you should select all of the services listed on the spreadsheet for that provider. Click Save and Close when done. And make sure that the new services appear here on the Provider Services page. Once all of the provider spreadsheet services are in HMIS, we need to do one last thing before we are ready to move on. Click on Edit Provider, and make sure that all of the provider's information matches what's on the spreadsheet. Also, make sure that this Accessing Organizations box is checked for all providers. If you scroll down and notice that the owning organization is not listed as Texas Homeless Network for a provider that already existed in HMIS, that's okay. You can leave this as it is. When you're done, click Finish. And after a quick look over of the provider's dashboard, you are ready to move on to the next provider on the list.